Welcome back to another interview you're doing to the authors of the book The Mind of the World Philosophy Day. Today we are with Dr. Azila.
Yes.
She has written the paper called Maqasid al-Sharia and the Built Environment.
Yes.
Thank you, Doctor, for joining us today.
Yeah, welcome.
And this interview. And please to put the viewers into context, what is Maqasid al-Sharia?
Okay, for us to understand what is Maqasid al-Sharia, we could put it as out of 6,666 Quranic verses and the 6 compilation of hadiths. So the ultimate aims of all these are actually to achieve the preservation of faith, the preservation of life, intellect, lineage and property, in which we could define the preservation of lineage and property is about the social and the economic system of a country.
From how long is the Islamic putting this into practice?
Okay, we can say that the emergence of Maqasid al-Sharia concept is from the first revelation of the Quranic verses. We can say that because whatever been revealed by the Almighty is with purpose. Okay, therefore it must have the ultimate aim. What is the purpose of such revelation? So that is called Maqasid al-Sharia.
Okay, so if in that context that it had been practiced since the life of the Prophet,
Yeah.
and the Maqasid al-Sharia leads to the preservation of faith, life, intellect, lineage and property.
Yes.
So what can you see the result as a result of practice this rule, can we say, to practice Maqasid al-Sharia since this time, since the very beginning until today in the Muslim people?
Okay, so if we apply this concept of Maqasid al-Sharia, so it will be clear to us about the application of Islamic principles in our life, because it started with the preservation of faith. So basically, Islam is rooted from the Iman, then Islam and Ihsan, in which in this Maqasid al-Sharia, this is the 5 essentials, started with the preservation of faith. So meaning to say that we can preserve our life, intellect, lineage and property, but suddenly or it could happen that we will neglect the preservation of faith, as it always happens nowadays. So therefore, if we follow these 5 essentials under the Maqasid al-Sharia, at least we will start with the preservation of faith, which is the root to the human life.
So some people believe that we should put our anthropocentrism beliefs about, putting the human being as the most important thing against the idea of putting God as the most important thing. So in that way, we can be sure that everything we do is for the good of humanity. But otherwise, if we focus on God's interest, maybe we can mislead or forget about being good with people and human beings. So how is it better? That's another, I'm talking about another source of belief. So how is it better the Sharia and this Islamic way of living against the other source of beliefs about being human being more important?
Okay, so for me that is the beauty of Islam, because Islam puts the belief system first. Meaning to say here, we put faith in the first place, that is, we believe in Allah. So in the 6 tenets of Iman, there is belief in Allah first. Meaning to say, we believe in our Creator first, only then we consider about ourselves. So that should be the priority, because when Allah created us, He provides us the Quran and Sunnah for us to go through about ourselves. So it is like a manual for human being. That's why in my chapter I did some analogy, the analogy of like a manufacturer when they manufactured, for example, washing machine, they will provide us a manual, because so that we can use that product to the utmost benefits. Okay, similarly, when Allah created us, Allah provides us the Quran and Sunnah as a guideline. This is to guide our life, so we will end our life with such beautiful way, because we subject ourselves to what Allah have commanded us and prohibited us. So it creates a level between human being and our Creator. That's why we should give the priority to our Creator rather than to ourselves.
I've seen that you are promoting the Maqasid al-Sharia. How is that movement going? How active you are with this idea?
Okay, thank you for that question. Actually, it goes back to the maybe 22 years back lah, because I'm graduated from the Sharia law, but I have been put in the kuliah or faculty of architecture in the International Islamic University Malaysia. Though I would find that is a first challenge to me, because how the Sharia law background could understand the architectural perspective of it. But that's why the starting point, I use the Maqasid al-Sharia as a basis to it. So I try to inject the Islamic perspective into the architectural study. So by using the way of Maqasid al-Sharia, in which I see the built environment, in which architecture is part of the built environment. So I see the built environment in the context of preservation of faith, preservation of life, preservation of intellect, lineage and property. To me, when I do that, so I can see a very close relationship between Maqasid al-Sharia and the built environment, and it has evolved about 22 years that I have done this. So I can see that is the best approach so far.
How is it possible to promote all of these values with a building?
Okay, because we have to see Maqasid al-Sharia as one. Maqasid al-Sharia and the built environment as one. Otherwise, we cannot feel it actually. Because people always believe that Islam is just about pronouncement of Shahadah, Salat, Puasa, Zakat and Hajj. Very seldom that people will see Islam is as a way of life that include also built environment, our surrounding, our environment, our industry, our urban area, commercial, housing, transportation and whatsoever that been defined under the built environment. That is our problem actually, when we separate between Islam and our surrounding, our physical surrounding. But if we manage to see Islam or the Maqasid al-Sharia and the built environment as one, so actually what we are doing to our environment, to our built environment, is all about Islam.
No, I agree, and it seems really interesting actually. But how is it possible? What's the difference between maybe an average building in another country, that one that is attached to this idea of Maqasid al-Sharia to promote all of this value of intellect, life, and so on?
Okay, if we look into the physical building, we can say that nothing much different, isn't it? Okay, between the Islamic building or non-Islamic building. But we are very concerned about the function of that building, the source and the way how we construct that building, for example, the procurement system, what activities happen in that building. So that is how we can inject the Islamic principles or the Maqasid al-Sharia here in the context of building construction.
So it is the Maqasid al-Sharia is put by the person within the building, but not within the building itself, is what you're trying to say. I mean, it's not anything you can do in the architecture, for example?
Okay, when come to the, for example, the design of the building, okay, it's open to creativity of the architect. There is no such thing that Islam will tell you, okay, the building should be in this shape, or what shape. Okay, But Islam is more concerned about the function that may lead to the design of that building. For example,
That's what I meant.
the design of the toilet, for example.
Okay.
As simple as Islam says that whenever you enter into the toilet, you will start with your left leg. Okay. Left leg means that your right hand will push the door. Okay. Then only your left leg will go first. Okay. So as simple as that. So the architect would translate this kind of Islamic principles. Similarly, when Islam says in the design of the toilet, it is for the user of the toilet to wash their body, their parts with the left hand.
Because you eat with the right hand.
Yes, meaning to say the position of the hose, the water pipe in the toilet should be in the right side.
So you can tweak it with your right hand?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, meaning to say here, there are many Islamic principles that should be translated into the design of the building. In this particular case, I tell about the toilet.
That is interesting.
Yeah, so we can compartmentalize. Okay, about the house design, for example. Okay, in Islam, house is a shelter. Okay, and then partly we need house is for the preservation of aurah, preservation of our secret part. Okay, so it is about our relationship with female, male, whoever in the house. So how the design of the house will take this into consideration about the privacy. Nowadays, in the modern term, we are so familiar with the term of privacy. But actually, the term of privacy is rooted from the term of aurah, preservation of aurah. That is the human body that should be covered.
We're running out of time. I'm going to ask just a last question.
Okay.
What is the most difficult challenge when it comes to architecture and put these rules into play?
Okay, the most difficult challenge is about the understanding. Okay, because the people in the built environment might be very conversant of their area of built environment, and the person in the religious study will be very conversant of the maqasid al-Sharia. But the challenge now is for the people to understand both in one context. So they must have a background of Islamic studies and built environment together. Only then they can see maqasid al-Sharia and built environment as one. But due to our educational system, in which we separated between this is built environment, this is Islamic studies. So how these two things can be integrated rather than it is co-occur? So to me, that is the big challenge. So we need to expose the person in the religious study to the built environment and the person in the built environment to the religious study. Only then the integration will happen, but it will take time.
Okay, I'm sure it will. All right, thank you, Doctor,
Okay,
for being
welcome.
here with us. Thank you. Please, I invite you to keep watching all the interviews we are doing to the authors of the book, The Mind of the World Philosophy Day. Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah, welcome.
We see you soon.